There is a strange kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from working too hard. It comes from understanding too much and being free too little. You listen, you read, you reflect, you nod quietly when something makes sense, and yet your life does not feel lighter. The mind is sharper, yes, the vocabulary is richer, but the weight inside the chest remains. And at some point, a quiet doubt appears. Not loud, not dramatic, just a whisper. Why, after all this understanding, am I still here? Still reacting, still tangled, still seeking. This video is not here to give you more answers. It is here to touch that doubt. Because what you are experiencing is not a failure. It is not a lack of effort, and it is not because you haven't listened enough. It is because of a very subtle misunderstanding, one that almost everyone makes. It is your real seeing. And this is where the words you are about to hear matter. You already know that the many videos on this channel, even though they may sound different, speak differently, approach things from different angles, all point to one single thing. To see clearly the true nature, the Buddha nature that is fundamentally complete within your own mind. Seeing clearly the true Buddha nature inherent fundamentally in one's own mind. Some people hear this and immediately resonate. Their understanding is quick. Their karmic conditions are mature. The words land and something opens. Others listen again and again, but nothing seems to penetrate. Not because they are inferior, not because they are doing something wrong, but because their karmic conditions are different. And for them, effort appears necessary. Yet even here, a misunderstanding quietly slips in. Because effort, when misunderstood, turns into striving. And striving always points outward. Human birth is rare, precious, because only as a human being can one receive the boundless wisdom of the patriarchs, of the Buddhas in all directions. And because of this, practice is possible. Not accumulation, not collection. Practice. Directly pointing to the human mind, seeing one's nature and attaining Buddhahood. If a single video were enough, just one, for you to truly see your original mind, then this channel would have fulfilled its purpose completely. You would not need another video. But if clarity has not yet appeared, then listening must continue, not as consumption, but as preparation. Like clouds thinning, not forcing the sun to appear, but allowing what already shines to reveal itself. One day, the clouds dissolve, and the sun was never missing. Your true nature shines the same way. Huineng, the Sixth Patriarch, warned very clearly about this. He said that if one only recites the Prajna Paramita with the mouth, but does not see one's own nature, it is of no benefit. It is like endlessly talking about food, describing flavors, discussing nutrition, but never eating. No matter how eloquent the description, hunger remains. To be free from hunger, one must eat, not talk. In the same way, to realize the subtlety of Prajna Paramita, one must directly abide in one's own true nature. Reliance on Prajna Paramita means the mind rests in emptiness, in no thought. As Bodhidharma said, when the mind abides in no thought, one is already in nirvana. The Sixth Zen Patriarch, Huineng, he said, "Good friends, people of this world always recite prajna with their mouths, but they don't recognize the prajna of the self-natures. This is like talking about eating, which doesn't satisfy one's hunger. If you just talk about emptiness with your mouths, you won't be able to see the nature for a myriad eons. Ultimately, this is of no benefit at all. Good friends, Mahaprajna Paramita is a Sanskrit word. Here we say, great wisdom going to the other shore. This must be practiced in the mind, not recited by the mouth. To recite it orally without practicing it in the mind is as unreal as a phantasm or hallucination, and as evanescent as dew or lightning. To recite it orally and practice it mentally is for mind and mouth to correspond. The fundamental nature is Buddha. There is no other Buddha apart from this nature. Good friends, all prajna wisdom is generated from the self-natures. It does not enter us from outside. To not err in its functioning is called the spontaneous functioning of the true nature. When the one, mind, is true, all things are true. When your minds are considering the great affair, you will not practice the small path. Do not be always speaking of emptiness with your mouth without cultivating the practice in your minds. That would be like an ordinary person claiming to be a king. You will never attain anything this way. Such persons are not my disciples. These words are not harsh. They are precise, and they cut exactly where misunderstanding hides. You may listen to hundreds of videos, meet thousands of teachers, but if you do not practice with your own mind, it is all useless. And yet, practice does not mean doing more. It does not mean controlling thoughts, suppressing emotions, manufacturing calm. No, it means staying still, here, in the present moment, observing the mind continuously, without binding it, without imprisoning it inside its own thoughts and imaginations. Observation means just that, standing and looking, nothing else. When observation happens without entanglement, without identification with thoughts or emotions, something important has already occurred. Because that distance, subtle, quiet, is the gate to awakening. This is what Bodhidharma meant when he said, "The essence of the way is detachment." It means not mistaking phenomena for self, not mistaking arising for identity. When you are no longer identical with what appears and disappears, you are practicing the path of awakening. And then, one day, you may notice something extraordinary. All the movements of the mind, the thoughts, the emotions, and even the observer are empty. Empty of ownership, empty of center. At that moment, Buddha nature is seen. There is nothing special to say about this. Words fall short. Explanations collapse, which is why the teachings are precious, but only as pointers. Better than speaking endlessly is practicing together. Now, here. And so, this video does not ask you to believe. It does not ask you to agree. It only invites you to stop, just for a moment, and notice. Notice what is moving. Notice what is watching. And then notice whether the watcher itself can be found. When nothing can be grasped, not even the one who grasps, something very quiet becomes obvious. The Buddha nature that is fundamentally complete within your own mind. There is nothing more to add. There is something I need to say to you, quietly, because on the surface it sounds like a contradiction. I make these videos, and yet I sincerely hope that this might be the last one you ever need to listen to. That may sound strange. If I create videos, wouldn't I want more people to watch? More listeners? More reach? Out there are countless human beings, living very different lives, standing at very different places, different backgrounds, different burdens, different depths of suffering and understanding. If I were to compress everything into just a few sharp sentences, if I were to speak only in the most direct and minimal way, for many people, the door would simply not open. Then something precious is lost. A human life is not long, and to pass through it without ever touching what is most essential, that is a quiet tragedy. That is why I remain here, why I keep speaking, again and again. Not because the truth needs repetition, but because people do. And yet, even as I continue, my deepest wish remains unchanged, that one day you will no longer need to listen, that one day a single moment of clear seeing will make all voices unnecessary, including mine. When that happens, this channel has completed its work, and so have I. Until then, I will continue to point. And when the time comes for me to leave, I do not wish to carry anything with me. Not teachings, not followers, not even these words. Only a return to that same emptiness from which everything arises. Silent, complete, and free. May all beings dwell in peace, in body and in mind.